Hi friends, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be chatting about lessons that we learned our very first year of homesteading as inexperienced homesteaders, basically. First lesson, if you will, is to slow down. When we bought this property, I had so many ideas that I had been researching and I had friends that were doing, and when we bought this property, I just was like, go, go, go. I wanted to do everything all at once. And I'm not gonna lie, everything didn't turn out how I thought it was gonna go. And sometimes that's just how life is. I will say, as a person, I kind of just jump into things and I have to learn a lot of hard lessons. That's just kind of how we are as a family. But if I could tell myself over again, I would say to kind of slow your roll. You don't have to do everything all at once. At least for us, the property will be here. It's not going anywhere. The second lesson that I will say is, like, I'm out here with these guys. Animals are an investment. And I think going into it, I was thinking like, oh, we'll get some cows and then we'll have meat and then we'll do this and we'll have, we'll be able to provide eggs or milk. And I knew that, like, the cows take a while to grow out, and I knew that stuff going into it, but I think I was thinking we would get a return on our investment, I guess, sooner than what we are, because this goes into the third lesson. Do your research, because we jumped the gun and bought, like, some of these dairy cows, and I was thinking, oh, steers, we'll grow them for meat. Little did I know, they take about 2 years to grow out. So, like, this guy, who is so sweet, and Mr. Kevin over here, it's going to take a couple of years before we even get any meat out of them. That goes into the pigs. Oh my goodness. The pigs as well. I wanted pigs for meat, and maybe potentially for breeding, so we went with coon. I'm not even sure at this point if they're coons or coonies. Either way, we have a couple of them, and I was thinking in my head we would use them for meat, and I knew that they took longer to grow out. I read that they were a lot more gentle and just like kid friendly, and so we went with them, and they're not breeding, and honestly we love them, so now they're kind of like pets that we have. And in my mind, I don't really want to have anything on our homestead or farm that isn't going to make us money or isn't going to feed us. I know that that's not for everyone. Like, look at how sweet that these guys are. Lesson 4, we will say. Not entirely sure. But anyway, be okay with winging it. Things are not going to go exactly to plan. That's just kind of part of the life out here. I am a very type A personality. I like to have a plan. I like things to be a certain way. And I have learned the hard way that is not the case. Usually you're playing A, B, and C. It's not going to happen, and you just kind of have to go with it. I know that we chatted about animals being an investment, and another thing is, don't buy animals that don't make sense for your family. I know we struggled quite a bit with the pigs and, like, keeping them. Does this make sense for our family to keep pigs that aren't going to feed us and aren't necessarily potentially even going to be able to breed? And I think we're at the point where we are going to keep them, but other animals, my daughter really wanted ducks, and for a minute I was like, wait, maybe we should get ducks. And then, I asked everyone in the family, are you going to eat duck eggs or will you eat duck meat? And everyone said no. So for us, it just doesn't make sense. Even though they're cute when they're little, I had read that they were messy, and that, like, just for our family in general, it just doesn't make sense. My last few lessons that we learned this year homesteading is just that it is okay to ask for help. We have received so much help from local farmers, from the Amish community, from friends that have farms, and I think at first we struggled with, like, asking all the time and feeling like we were like a nuisance to people, and I think that is kind of what has created the community around us and the new friends that we have that live this life, because before we moved out here, we didn't have any friends or family really that lived this life. And so through asking for help and through learning, we have made all of these connections and relationships. And although we might not be able to help people with farm advice and we don't know exactly how to butcher animals and how to raise them, we've been able to return the favors by doing things like giving people rides to the store that are in the Amish community and don't have cars. We've been able to return it by, hey, I know that you helped me and here's a chicken that we butchered or some eggs. And so it's not always a tit for tat, but I have learned that like the farming and homesteading community has been so helpful and happy to help, which is something new to us when we don't have experience and we feel kind of dumb asking for help. And honestly, I just think that the lesson is like, it's okay, it's to be expected, and people are happy to share their knowledge. They're happy to teach you. And so you can return that favor when the time comes around. Another huge lesson that we've learned this year is that it is okay to fail, and you're going to. And sometimes when you fail, that's how you learn in the future. We have had so many things that like were unplanned for or just didn't go according to like what we thought was going to happen. We've had some really hard lessons and failures. You know, we bought a cow. I had no experience. I had paid $1,500, I think, for 2 bottle calves. They came with scours. I had no idea what I was doing, and one of them ended up passing away. It was months later, but like I just don't think she had a very good start to begin with, and that was a really hard failure for us. Like I felt like it's my fault that this cow passed, and sometimes it's just nature takes its course. We have failed in so many other things. I mean, these cows have gotten out multiple times, and it was a fencing issue that like we didn't even know that we had. And so I think it's just like when you fail, you take it on the chin, you get back up and you go again, because once you have these animals and you have this property and you are providing for your family in this way, you don't have a choice but to keep going. In my head, sometimes I would beat myself up about like, maybe I'm just not cut out for this life. Maybe I just like am stupid and I just don't know what I'm doing. And not to say that I do know what I'm doing a year into it, but I know a lot more and I've gained a lot more experience throughout this year. Another kind of hard lesson that we've learned with our cow passing away, and we've had chickens pass away, is heartbreak is going to happen, and that's just part of the life. And I think losing an animal is always hard. Even when you're raising them for a butcher, if it's unexpected, it's hard and it hurts your heart, and sometimes you just feel like, man, this sucks, like this is just a bad day, like, you know. And when that stuff happens and your back is against the wall, I mean, for me, I just pray and I'm like, God, you know, help me, because I don't know what I'm doing. And so those are the lessons that we have learned year one homesteading, and we have put a ton of time and money and energy and patience into this life that we're trying to create for our kids. And I think that if you're considering it or thinking about it, do it. You know, it's hard sometimes, but it is well worth it. We still have so much to learn. It's crazy. If you guys could see my Google searches, okay, I think every other day I'm searching, you know, can pigs eat this? Can chickens eat this? Are you supposed to do this with cows? What does this mean? And I think that like over time, hopefully I'll gain a better grasp of what I'm doing and I'll be able to help others. And I think that that is my whole intention with this channel, is to help people realize that you don't have to grow up doing this. It's been on our heart for a long time that like we wanted to live this life, and we homeschool the kids, and this is the life that we've dreamed about giving our kids. But actually doing it is a whole different story. I mean, in my head, I had these Pinterest boards planned, and I had this vision of, you know, I'm going to raise all of our own meat, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And we did raise all of our own meat this year, minus pork, and we were able to provide all of our veggies and whatnot. But I think dreaming it up and actually putting in the work and doing it is a lot different, and it's a lot different than what I thought it was going to be. Not to say that I regret it or that I would change anything, but I think if I could go back to year one, I would tell myself, you know, just go with the flow. It is okay, and you know, we'll get through everything. Thank you for sticking by and watching this video. I appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe to our channel, and we will see you next time.